So, in talking about controlling our thoughts, what do we have to look at? Well, it really comes down to concentration. The definition of concentration is the direction of attention on a single object. Scientists have shown us that we think hundreds of thoughts per second. Now, when we're working during the day and you're doing your normal day-to-day activity, we get all these thoughts coming up one after another after another. In many cases, what do we do with them? Well, they start coming out. We start talking and jabbering back and forth. Or we're talking with inside our own mind, whether people are talking to us or not. So to get control of that really comes down to the power of focus, which is what concentration is all about. It's like, for instance, if we were to take a river. If that river was over a 2-mile area, just flowing naturally, and we took that river, what kind of power does it have? Does it have the power to move rocks? No, it's just sitting there. But if we took that and actually moved it into a 1/4-mile stretch of land, it would move that land right off. So the power of focus is the power to control our thoughts, the power of attention. What we need to do is to be able to slow our mind to be able to hold one thought. In doing this, we're actually creating the atonement. Many great philosophers talked about the atonement. What does that mean? If you break down atonement, we're looking at one-ment. It's actually getting the consciousness of it and never deviating. In looking at that, we need to look at the brain and the subconscious mind and how it works. It's been said by scientists that the brain has and goes through 4 different rates of vibration. We talk about being at the beta level, the alpha level, theta level, and delta level. What happens is that all of us run through these levels many times per minute. When we go to sleep, we still run through these levels. What happens is that the beta level, they say, is our consciousness, where we are right now. You're thinking of me, you're watching me on TV, I'm looking at the cameras, thinking of you, thinking of how I can relate all of this to you. We're thinking on the conscious level. As we look at going down into the alpha and theta level, what happens is that when you were going to sleep and watching your thoughts as you were sleeping, that's going down into the alpha level. Scientists, the research that they've done into the dream state and everything like that, show it's the alpha and theta levels that's where our healing comes in. That's where our subconscious mind is. And the delta levels are the levels that they don't really even know about. There's many yogis that have gone into these levels and can stay in those levels for extended periods of time. But the scientists can't show what that means. But the yogis come out with great stories and great experiences of what they've experienced in those levels. What we're going to be talking about and actually dealing with is how to get into this alpha and theta level consciously, working within our own selves consciously, being able to use creative visualization, creative relaxation exercises, breathing exercises to understand ourselves, to understand our thoughts, to be able to control our thoughts and actually move our thoughts in the way that we want them to. Because if we can do this and then use the practical exercises of goal setting, of planning, of organization, of delegation, of working with the mastermind, of communications, then we're able to control and direct our life. So when we come back, we're going to work on specific techniques of concentration, and I'm going to be talking more about how to use your breath in helping control your thoughts so we can get what we want done. And what is that? Again, if we're able to become 10 or 20 or 30% more effective in these areas, what is it going to mean to you personally? what is it going to mean to your family? Is it going to help you? Well, all of the research that's been done, all of the successful individuals that have been interviewed as far as using these 13 principles have actually found them to be successful in their lives. And this is what we want to have happen for you. So we'll be back, and I'll talk more about it then.
You just
with our thoughts to create what we want in our life. The first aspect of it is our posture. Many cases in meditation, you see a yogi sitting in meditation with his arms at his sides, with his legs crossed, with his spine straight. For us Westerners, we can either sit in a chair or be lying on our back. The whole premise about that is to keep your spine straight. The reason being is that it's said that in our body there are 7 different chakras. Chakras are actual energy points within our body. It's mainly where all of the nerve centers come in the body in different aspects of it. There's a root chakra, the navel chakra, the solar plexus, the heart chakra, the communication chakra, or a throat chakra, in the third eye, and at the crown of the head. Okay? So the whole idea is to keep your body aligned so these energy levels can rise and flow throughout your body. In many cases, it's said that if someone is ill or is sick, it's because part of their alignment is off. That's where you see a lot of people with the acupuncture or the chiropractors. They move the body back in alignment so the energy can flow. Another aspect that we need to look at is your breath. Well, how do you breathe? Is your breath shallow? In other words, is it all right in your chest? Are you going... If your chest moves while you breathe, you're breathing improperly. If you look at a baby when they're sleeping, you see that the baby is breathing into its stomach. So we as adults, because we've lost that natural impulse, we need to work on this. Again, if we're laying down or sitting, we need to be able to... This is a kind of a neat exercise. If you either stand up or where you're sitting right now, if you put your hands together like this, with the tips of your fingers together, when you breathe out, your fingertips should move away. And when you let go of that breath, or breathe out, then your fingertips should come together. So again, when you breathe in, your fingertips are apart. When you breathe out, it's together. Now, that's deep breathing. That's actually moving your stomach to create a vacuum. Now, what happens with that, scientifically, you create 60% more oxygen within your body by breathing in that way. Okay? Is that important? Well, if you're getting more oxygen into your blood flow, you're getting more oxygen into your brain, you're getting more oxygen throughout your body. Isn't that beneficial? It sure is. So we have to look at that and be conscious of that. In addition to breathing deeply, the other aspect of it is to breathe rhythmically. What is meant by that? Well, for each individual, their heartbeat is different. So if you were to measure your heartbeat and actually take a beat of, say, 10 beats and actually count it out, what you need to do is actually breathe in for as many beats as you can. Let's say it's 6 to 10. Hold your breath for half of that amount of time, and then breathe out for that same amount of time. Hold your breath again for half the time, and then breathe in. Well, what does this do? Well, what happens is that within your blood system and in your oxygens, when you're breathing,